Well, hello there, Mandy Rose. That's all I'm going to say is
What
hello
what
there.
what's the purpose? What?
I didn't think you were
don't
going to
have-
complain about having Mandy Rose over your face.
Yeah, if I had to pick something to look at for a little bit, I think that's a good image.
This is why he put me in the middle. He was playing around. He was playing around so he could put me in the middle so he could do this. I know why he did it. There's a method.
Oh, there he is.
But here's the
Yes,
question: Are
much
you
better.
complaining about her being on your face?
Yeah, well, I can't really,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can already see, the shenanigans have started.
now you're gonna put something in my face.
You got the People's Choice Don Rodriguez. Behind the lovely Nikita Lyons, you have the Nubian Sumo, James. And of course, you have me, the big guy, KG. We are your Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs.
KG, I just realized something. Hold up, time. We talk about diversifying our bonds. We can't have any diversity in our overlay with the ladies. Can we get a couple J Cargills up in here, please?
Okay. I mean,
maybe a Naomi. I mean, something. I'm like, God damn.
Look,
it's a lot of vanilla.
I just pull up whatever I see.
See that's a lot of vanilla. Wait,
that's all. I just put.
I'm gonna go ahead and say what he's trying to say. It's a lot of caucasity going on around here.
I'm just saying we need to diversify.
Look, man.
But then again,
I do what I can.
Rest in peace.
I do what I can. That's all I can say is I do what I can.
Do it then. What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling? Second weekend of 2023.
Rough week.
Well, I'm assuming you're compensating with that shirt because you had the rough week. So go ahead and tell us. Well, you ain't drinking nothing, but what you substituting and what you're feeling with your shirt, all that stuff.
Well, the Nubian Sumo tonight is been, and I know I've shown this over the past few weeks, the same brand, but we're not sponsored by them yet. We're working on it. Polar Orange Dry Sparkling Water tonight. We're going to go with this tonight. Very lovely drink. 10% juice. Got some actual juice in here. So it's not too bad. Not too bad. Now, as far as the shirt goes,
diabetes.
No, I'm already got that going on, but so I ain't worried about that too much. Anyway, as far as the shirt is concerned, I'll bring the shirt up. The reason for the shirt later. There's a reason for the shirt tonight.
Oh, okay. Well,
and it has nothing to do with Don.
No, he means it, but that's okay. And in honor of James' national pastime, I decided to make sure that tonight is also brought to you by petroleum jelly. I can't even get out the tagline, but be like the sumo. Use your petroleum jelly.
It's a simple fact that he got it sitting right by him, and there's Jay Cargill, and he got the petroleum jelly.
Right. Jay Cargill with the petroleum jelly. So I'm trying to figure out how to pass something like that off on me.
Well, because you're the one that, this is just any normal stuff. This is baby love petroleum jelly. You got to be sensitive and take your time.
So you're pedo now.
You said what?
You're pedo now.
Man.
Baby love, you got the baby love going on with the petroleum jelly.
Ooh, let me go ahead and just send this joint out.
You said you had some issues, so I just wanted to make sure that you were getting your sponsorship right.
No, I ain't got no sponsorship with anything baby love or petroleum jelly. No, you got me all messed up.
Oh Lord, where we starting at first?
I don't know, but that's the only Jade Cargill shot. Everything. Look, hold on. How we go from? I understand what you said. We go from this to this to this. Clean up a little bit. Go to this. And her custom render? Really?
Look, it's kind of hard to find what you're looking for when it comes to Jade Cargill. Let's just put that out there. It's hard to find what you're looking for.
I apologize for what's going on right now. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know what's perpetuating this tonight.
It's called filler, Jay. It's called filler. It's filler, damn it.
This guy, since he's the one pretty much running the boards right now. So yeah.
Filler.
I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna eventually start this show. I don't know when, but we're gonna eventually start this.
We finally going Triple X. Vin Diesel and who was the second Triple X? Oh, it's Ice Cube. Ice Cube.
The show.
What the hell you say?
You heard what I said.
No,
if you can hunt, you can hear.
We really missed it.
Go ahead, man.
God damn it. I'm trying to. That was a good segue into the goddamn Raw 30, and you ruined it. You had one job. Ruined it. See? Coming handy right there for you, James. Coming handy. See? Do the motion again. Go ahead. Just go ahead and put your finger in there. You know how you know how to put that work in. But either way, Raw 30. 30 years of Monday Night Raw effectively comes to a head on Monday. Believe it or not. That makes you and I, KG, man, that means, we've been fans for 30 years. James, well, I guess.
We've never been friends.
Did they use ropes in the Stone Ages? How did you watch it?
How did I watch what?
Wrestling back in the Stone Ages. I mean, were they just, like the play-by-play guys were just crackling it in on the cave, and then you went in there and looked at the cave markings? How'd that work out?
Man, go on with that. Go on with that, man.
How the heck did they chisel out Slobberknocker back in? Well, puppies. Oh, man. Either way. So Raw 30, they're bringing back some of the vets. We know we'll see the DX. Undertaker is coming back for Raw 30. No word on Stone Cold from what I've seen. But we got some other legends. Possibly Ric Flair. But who would y'all like to see? What type of segment would you like to see that would celebrate 30 years of Monday Night Raw?
I defer to KG since he's the WWE guy.
I'm the WWE guy. Segments that I'd like to see. I know it wouldn't be possible. I would like Christian and Edge to get back together for a segment. I'd even love to see Mr. Kennedy. Bring back some things from Ruthless Aggression as well as the Attitude Era. Of course, like you said, Hogan's gonna be there. I hope Flair is there. I would love to see Batista there. I would love to see Evolution get back together one good time. As far as segments go, I would love to see a reenactment, even though I know it wouldn't happen. A reenactment of the highest rated WWE Raw segment of all time. This is your life, Rocky. Mankind and The Rock. I would love to see a reunion of the Rock and Sock connection. One good time. There it is. That'll be good for me right there.
I like to see the APA have a segment, but the problem that we have is Devon's no longer with the company, so we can't have him at the table playing poker with the APA.
Yeah, he did walk away.
But my hopes, and then James, you could go, is that in preparation for this, considering, we'll have some in there, maybe in a video segment, maybe not live, but I'm hoping that they spent some money and really did this properly by really cutting some checks and having people there that you wouldn't expect to be there. Even if it's a walkthrough. So here, Tony Khan, here's 10 grand. We just need Jericho to do a walkthrough. Put somebody on a list and walk out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Tony Khan, we need to borrow Sting. He ain't doing nothing right now. For about 5
Actually, he is.
Well, he's going to be retiring, but he's not in an active super program right now.
He is in Japan right now, getting ready to wrestle.
We ain't got time for you and your segment. I'm just saying what I would like to have.
What he's doing right now.
He could do a video cut in or something, but they still got to get Tony Khan's permission. Bring some people in that they've had. What the hell is the Warlord? He ain't doing nothing. Hell, bring back Hawk and Animal.
Bring back who?
I'm just letting this sit there, waiting for y'all to get this. Oh man, it took y'all too long for that one. Too long.
I could say bring back the greatest team of all time, the Killer Bees.
Really good. Where's Great Khali? He ain't doing nothing. Where's Shane? You can bring in Kurt Angle. You can bring in Diamond Dallas Page. Spend the money. It's 30 years. The next 30 years, pretty much all of them be dead.
Jesus. People are living a lot longer these days.
30 years from now? That's you know what I'm saying? They're not all Mae Young. Bless her heart. James, go ahead.
I say you have the match that people have been waiting for all this time, decades in the making. You have it as the opening match for Raw, for this particular Raw. Loser retires for life. Goldberg versus Gilbert.
Why not? Special guest referee, James Ellsworth.
I like that. Funny.
I like that.
But what I'm actually looking forward to is a rumor that's going around right now that there may be, in addition to the bloodline, during this appreciation ceremony. And I'm looking forward to that. So if it doesn't happen at the appreciation ceremony, it may happen during the Rumble. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. What's that?
Who is it, Tama Tonga?
No. Tom is still under contract. Tom is still under contract. Who?
Is there another brother, or is that all of them from that generation?
Tom is not a brother. Tom is not even a cousin.
He's not?
No. Tama is the son of Haku.
That's close enough.
Haku is not part of the Inoue family.
They probably related somehow. I thought they were. I thought Haku was yeah.
But they don't recognize each other. It's related.
Oh, okay.
Really? Really?
Yeah, they're not Haku is the Inoue family. No.
My life has been a lie.
Yeah. What we learn on the show. So who you talking about?
Naomi.
Yep. They said she turned down a contract.
Did she?
I don't know. I just said they.
They say she turned down a contract, or she gave away a contract when she walked out. She's been on pretty good, apparently, from the articles that I've been reading, especially with Fightful. She's been in a pretty good speaking relationship with the higher ups in WWE since in the past few months. She's not getting signed with New Japan or the Stardom. She's not in Japan at all. She hasn't been talking to anybody else as far as Impact or AEW. So why not bring her back as the newest member of the Bloodline? You got all these women who are branching off into who are single women within all these factions. Judgment Day, and a few others. So why not?
True. We talked about it a while ago that she needed to join the Bloodline. So they're setting up Judgment Day anyway versus the Usos. So that I would actually factor in pretty well, because guess who would come for the save and nullify Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and the rumor is that they're talking about making Naomi and Charlotte for WrestleMania.
With the Bloodline aspect, yeah. Charlotte will put her over.
Where does that leave Bianca Belair?
With Charlotte being the SmackDown champion, they talking about splitting up all these belts. Everybody's on the Bloodlines on SmackDown. So why not have all the belts in Bloodline on the SmackDown side? And then if they split the belts up, just give them over to Raw.
It's a lot of money being spent by Fox to make that happen. Wonder how that goes into this purchase thing. Somebody may be leveraging. We'll have to see how that plays out. But speaking of women, no new picture yet, KG. You had all this time.
He need to find a picture of Ruby Soho going into this segment.
I know you can find that. So, James, you can talk about it, because I know you've been around long enough. No joking. I'm serious in this one. Been around long enough to see truly the evolution of women's wrestling from, way back to, Moolahs and Wendy Richters and all that up to now. And we've had little pockets from here, there, just a little bit of, I wouldn't call it hardcore back then, but, some stiff matches up until what we just had last week on Rampage, which, Ruby Soho getting busted open the hard way, and Anna Jay getting power bombed by Willow Nightingale onto the concrete, basically, because the only thing that went through the table was Willow Nightingale. So, what's your take on women's hardcore matches? Is it really necessary? We know the fans are gonna, want to see just anything that's just hardcore to get a table or a chair out, and this includes Hell in a Cell too, because you can factor in Hell in a Cell and technically the Elimination Chamber. But is it really necessary to get the attention on the women's division, or is it just a gimmick?
I don't necessarily know whether it's necessary. Women have been trying to get equality within everything for forever, especially within within wrestling. Period. They want to get equal pay, and they want to get equal booking and equal billing, and the whole thing. And then you got this women's revolution where they want to be first at they want to have the first everything, who the first WrestleMania main event, the first Hell in a Cell, the first all this and that. So as far as them trying to get equal footing with the men within the business, That's one thing. But going as far as this hardcore stuff, it's kind of a mixed bag for me because I can actually see it if the storyline or the way that they're getting booked quantifies it. I don't see. I mean, and if it actually happens the way it happened with Ruby Soho, that's that just par for the course. But for women to go into hardcore matches like that, like I said, unless it's absolutely necessary for the storyline, I wouldn't want to see this on a regular basis. Yeah, it's helped to get Dr. Britt Baker over. It's helped to get Becky Lynch over. It's most likely going to help Ruby Soho get over. But I don't want somebody like what's her name? I just had her name in Kaylee Ray to have to cut herself wide open just to be able to get over on a storyline. So I can see where it could be necessary. I can see where it could be placed into a match even accidentally, and you just work it out as it goes. But for something like this to be a regular on a regular basis, it's not something really that I want to see. Just my opinion.
I agree with that. And KG, before we get to you, my only issue with the match from Rampage was there really was no buildup. The Becky Lynch thing was just a causality of a hit.
Yeah,
and she capitalized. Right. Britt Baker, same thing, capitalized on it. But this is a planned event. One of the many times that they've done this in AEW where you've got a match. What the hell was the buildup for?
That's what I was
here or there.
What was the purpose of a no holds barred match between those four women?
And then all you do is a video package right beforehand. But we're not mostly invested in it. What about you, KG? Is it necessary? Do you look for it?
I don't look forward to it. I don't feel it's necessary, but we have had those moments, as James mentioned, with Becky Lynch. It worked out for Nia Jax. It also worked out for Becky Lynch because it gave her a huge push, but it knocked Nia Jax down a little bit. But she was able to play that heel character of the face breaker. And, Britt Baker, everybody loved that because we were talking about that right there. We talked about that for about a week when that happened. Now here's Ruby Soho. This is the part that you don't see. You can't sell that. No, I don't. This is not. I'm not saying that women are dainty or they don't need to do this, but it. What's the value? What's our end game? If we make a women's hardcore division right now, what's our end game? What's our purpose? You don't have one. Now, when you do it with the men,
there is a hardcore women's organization out there. I can't think of the name of it right now.
But that's what you go there to see. You know it's going to happen. That's the whole purpose. But we're just throwing, no holds barred, murder yourself matches. For what? If it's one pay-per-view a year, and that's what you're building towards, and everything's going to culminate there on these feuds, and then you start a new feud afterwards. Okay, the purpose of the Elimination Chamber initially was to come out with the number one contender, or to come out with the champion towards the later years, but it had a purpose. But then, are we also hypocrites? Because when the guys do it, are we sitting there chanting, "Get the kendo sticks," and this is awesome, and Devon get the tables?
Totally different. Totally different. I wouldn't expect a woman to take a bump week in, week out, night in, night out of going through a table, of taking a kendo stick shot to the head, of taking chair shot after chair shot. I don't expect a woman to take 19 chair shots to the head. Just me. I don't expect things like that. And it has no, I want to say emotional value, but it has no value to see a woman get her ass whooped like that. I mean, as a man, it doesn't have value because I don't like you, so I want to see you get your ass whooped. But it has no value. It has nothing. And let me put it into perspective. You can take, let's say you take Jade Cargill, right? You take the lovely, the talented Jade Cargill. I'm gonna have to put her on your face real quick, James. Hold on. You got Jade Cargill, right? You got her in a hardcore match with none other than the legend herself, Faye Jackson. Do you want to see those two women beat the holy shit out of each other till blood streaming down one of their heads? Do you want to see that? Who wants to see that? When in actuality, a one falls count anywhere, or 60-minute Iron Woman match would be way more valuable than them in a hardcore match. It means nothing to see them beat the shit out of each other to the point where they're bleeding. And, just to make James happy, I'm going to put Faye Jackson back on his face.
Thank you.
But there's no value in that, so it's not necessary.
Would you look at this dude for me? Look at
Oh man.
Look, I get what you're saying, but if it comes to that, if it comes to the fact that they need to get that extreme to get to that point, then I can kind of see it. But just for them to do that as a 50th for a 50th win, no, I wouldn't want that. No.
Is it a generational thing, do you think? Because would you have wanted to see a match at that level? Would it be still entertaining if it was Trish Stratus versus Lita? Or back then, were we just complacent and okay with Lita being extreme, and all it was just her moonsault that almost killed her every night?
See, with that example makes it hard for that because they would have never been put in that position to do that. Now, if you'd have said maybe now in Japan you had a little bit of that, it was some. It wasn't as bad as Britt or as bad as Ruby Soho. In Japan, you've had some matches like that, especially with Aja Kong and Awesome Kong and Bull Nakano and some of those folks from back in that day. If you'd have said something like Wendy Richter versus Medusa, I can kind of see it.
I can see it, yeah, definitely. Because they would go in.
Yeah, they would go in. I mean, anybody that was pretty much trained by Moolah would go in like that.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get into the Divas era, I don't see that happening.
So Sable versus Stacy Keibler and a lights out kendo stick match, no?
No.
Has no value whatsoever.
So no Nydia versus Jillian Hall in a barbed wire death match?
Only if that gimmick gets ripped off of her face.
I was gonna say special guest referee is the Boogeyman.
Only if Nydia actually comes out with a scalpel and rips that gimmick off of Jillian Hall's face.
Yeah. And then that sucky bum Jamie Noble that came out there and tried to carry her out. Like, leave Nydia alone. She was hot. But speaking of random people, next week begins the official road to WrestleMania. You touched on one thing, James, but let's talk about what we really would like to see happen at the Royal Rumble. And I want to segment this not so much in the other matches, because we'll get into that probably in a reaction show, but more so in the Rumble, in the men's Rumble. Who would you like to see show up?
Well, you already got half of the Royal Rumble match already set up. Probably won't be too much room for anybody new.
We got about at least 5 spots, maybe 7. We'll say 10. About 7 Hall of Fame, between Hall of Famers and just nostalgia, and maybe 3 new people.
Well, I don't know. It could be somebody returning. It could be somebody that they just have a one-off. I don't know. When it comes to the men's Royal Rumble, it's already a given who is going to happen. So
I think R-Truth needs to come back.
Is it? He's going to be hurt. He's going to be hurt. He's hurt. They say he's going to be hurt.
Yeah.
God, dang, Truth.
If I'm not mistaken, he tore his quad.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Squad. He's going to be out for at least a year.
That's his first injury in, geez, who knows how long.
Might be his first injury ever. I want Truth to be injured.
What about Hornswoggle? Not feeling that?
Why?
Why not? It's the Royal Rumble. Why not? They haven't had him. It's somebody different. No. I'm just.
Who was that was talking about? Who was that? Who was that was talking about that for $1 million they would get into the Royal Rumble? The guy who used to tag team with Spanky.
Oh, from ECW?
Brian Kendrick, and who's the other guy that get a tag team with him?
Paul London?
Yeah, Paul London. He said for $1 million, if Triple H called him to be in the Royal Rumble, he would go ahead and take it.
But who the heck remembers Paul London? I remember him, KG, but I mean, what about Charlie Haas? Him and Shelton could reunite. So Shelton just had his anniversary with the WWE.
That'd be cute.
Big Cass, I'm sorry.
I said that'd be cute.
Since Big Cass is in AEW, why not Enzo for one night only?
I don't know.
What? Just a spot? He could come out with. He could be number 1.
Yeah, ain't there some bad blood there still between WWE and Enzo?
That was Vince and Enzo.
And Vince is back home.
But Triple H is calling the shots.
Not necessarily.
Well, hey, at this point, the Royal Rumble has one job. If Vince is trying to sell it, you want to get as many eyes on the product as possible.
Hold on. You talking about Triple H calling the shots, right? That was WrestleMania not even a year ago. Shane was in charge of calling the shots, and he was overruled by some people that didn't even know what the fuck they were doing. You telling me Vince gonna allow something like that? When you allowed your own son to get overruled and ran out of the building? I think not.
Well, I don't know,
man. Different things now.
The way Shane was back there trying to run things, he was trying he was trying to build himself up. He wasn't trying to build anybody else up. That's why they got him out of there. But hey, don't distract me like that. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing that to me? Are you trying to tell me to shut up?
Hell no. I know how to keep you calm. That's all. I know how to keep you calm.
Well, that was new. That was Nubian.
Can't be put like that and expect me to keep my concentration.
Yeah, everybody was derailed on that one. You weren't the only one, James. I said, God damn.
Shout out to Faye Jackson. You are loved and appreciated here on the Sideline Junkies Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs podcast.
James gonna have to go change his shirt on this one.
Lord,
she won't answer. She won't talk to us. I keep hashtagging. I keep putting her in. I'm like, come on, man. Give me something.
Well, we can just get the rub off that picture. We'll be good. Literally. But as I was saying, I think stranger things have happened. And for one night only, one time, just to see what happened, Enzo ain't doing nothing. Why not? Nobody would be expecting that. And that's the purpose of the Royal Rumble. Nobody would be expecting. You could be number one, and then you can have, Drew McIntyre be number two. And he just gets to Claymore. Throw him out the ring. Why not?
Jinder Mahal. I want to see Jinder Mahal win it all.
Oh, no. Even though
Jinder Mahal
enjoyed
Jinder Mahal NXT right now.
Only reason why I say that because remember he was a main eventer. He got hurt and came back, and now he's a lower mid card. This dude was imagine a match, and I called this before. Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Give me a 6-month program. I'm telling you, it will do numbers.
And a one-man band.
It'll do numbers.
Put the Hurricane back in there for one night. Shane Helms ain't doing that.
I wouldn't mind. That.
And then right behind that, just because nobody be expecting.
I don't know if he's gonna be drunk though, but
you can get into it. Send Molly Holly out there too, Mighty Molly, and they would have to face off.
She's been around though. She wouldn't be a surprise. She's been.
But she's been in the men's Royal Rumble. In the men's Royal Rumble.
Oh, in the men's Royal Rumble. Oh well.
So those two would end up being together, and then they would have to just eliminate each other. Nothing too crazy. No, they're not in a gender match, and just be a fun thing. They do their spots. They could be up on the rope, and then somebody comes out, pushes them off. I don't know. There's just crazy stuff like that. I mean, it's that time of year where anything can happen. For fun. Brock, why not? Doesn't have to win it, but why not?
Yeah, but who are you gonna throw over Brock Lesnar over the top rope? And why would you do it?
Bobby Lashley.
But you can't give me a proper Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley match that I've been waiting for 13 years. But you'll give me that in the Royal Rumble. I'll pass.
To build the Hurt Business coming back. Because it would be Bobby Lashley getting the pushover, but it would be the assist from Omos, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. With the pullover from MVP. MVP would be pulling him over. That keeps Brock intact as a beast because it took that many people to get him over. And then Bobby Lashley's playing it off like, what the heck are y'all doing? And the next day they pull a curtain call and all hug, and there you go for the Hurt Business. No.
That's you asking for a lot. That's all I'm saying. You asking for a lot.
I just gave you a gem and painted the pictures for you, and now you're like, that's just too much.
I said you're asking for a lot. I didn't say it was too much. You know, it's a great idea, but you're asking for too much.
Now. What more do you want from me? TVs in the stands? Shit, I can't do it all.
Wait, you already gave us that.
I'm trying to give you the herb, but you ain't taking it. Goddamn trash. Goddamn. Who else? Come on, James. You gotta have somebody else.
Like I said, it's a moot point as far as the men's Royal Rumble. It doesn't matter because we already know who's gonna win it. So
yeah, but I mean,
it makes no difference.
Just
it makes no difference what.
It's just fun, you know, just for the fantasy fun of it, just to throw out some names that people haven't thought of. You know, I'm quite sure viewers is like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this person just have a moment. You know, it doesn't have to be anything big, but just have a moment. Hell, why can't Jeff Jarrett walk out there?
Because he got heat with the back.
Why not?
You know who I thought about?
Really quick. It could be a quickie.
I thought about DDP.
There you go.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Buff Bagwell. He's healthier.
He not coming to WWE. He's still bitter about what happened after the sale of WCW.
Well, yeah, but everybody cool with DDP, and you know DDP can smooth that over.
You know what?
Because he got Jake in AEW.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
And just because of what happened over the last week, you know who I'd love to see for Royal Rumble? Kevin Nash. Just to have him around the boys in the locker room. After that comment that he made, I just would love to see him around the boys in the locker room for at least a week.
Well, I would put him in Raw 30, but yeah.
And that too. Okay. That's why I said at least a week.
Yeah. If his knees is cool.
I'm not even. I don't even care if his knees is cool. I only care if he just show up, but just to get him back in his element and get those thoughts out of his head, because he kind of sort of scared me when I woke up and saw that. He kind of sort of scared me a little bit.
Yeah, I hope Sean and Trips called him immediately. What they should have did was just say, "Hey, come out here."
Yeah.
So that was some fun, you know. Just throwing a little business out there before we really get to the secret sauce.
Well, let me say this before we move on, fellas.
We were talking about the women earlier. What about the women's Royal Rumble? I mean, right now you only got 4 women.
Because the women
that have for their Royal Rumble.
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. In my opinion, this year's women's Royal Rumble is irrelevant. If you can prove to me that there's a purpose for it, let me know.
Number 1 contendership for each belt, or which it's like Money in the Bank. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Contender for either belt, truly. Right. I've also read that because of the lack of women that could be in the Royal Rumble, that they're actually hiring women or bringing in women to be in the Rumble. So the question that you posed for the men, you should have pretty much posed for the women, because who are they going to bring in for the women's Royal Rumble? I mean, look at all the women that are going to be out of the contention for being in there. No Bianca Belair, no Charlotte Flair, because they're the champions. You don't have Becky Lynch right now. You don't have. I mean, who's supposed to be wrestling Charlotte at the Rumble right now? It's Alexa Bliss is going to be out because she's going to be in. She's going to be wrestling Bianca.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I said her name, and yeah. I'm on. I mean, you got all these women. I mean, Becky and Bailey are going up against each other. They might end up having another match, or might be put in. But
that's what I'm saying. there's no build to anybody in traditional Royal Rumble mode that makes me like last year. Had to watch it. I was really looking for just the women. The men were just something to do. But this year, to your own admittance, there's really nobody that's available unless they tap NXT and really put the NXT women in the Rumble. This would have been great if Toxic Attraction was still there because Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction cleared out at least half of the daggone thing.
Toxic Attraction is still.
I know they're still a tag team, but Toxic Attraction is Mandy Rose and these two girls. Pretty much. I mean, I would like Gigi to have her breakout moment, but yeah. The only person actually who I think may be still green is all get out is the Rockstar. Because I like this scissor group. It reminds me of Sandy. Oh, wait, correction. Isn't Eric Young supposed to come back to WWE? He may be one.
Yeah. They're talking about bringing back. They're talking about bringing back Sanity. Period. So they could bring back Big Damo, Alexander Wolf, and put them back together with Nikki Cross, which falls into the three. What is it? Meat and three vegetables groups that they got going.
But unfortunately, there's still not enough substance there to make me want to watch the women. So I'm just going to sit back and be surprised. We'll probably see Trish, though. She ain't doing nothing. Lita may be in it. She ain't doing nothing.
We'll see the mainstays. We'll probably see Trish. Probably see Kelly. Probably see
maybe Victoria.
Well, I don't know. Because Victoria was at Hard to Kill. Was on the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, kind of giving support to Mickie James before her match with Jordan Grace.
Who says Mickie James may not be in it?
Mickie James could be in it.
That's what I'm saying. So why can't
Victoria? But as far as
Victoria,
I don't see Victoria getting into the ring again. Not the way she looking. Not the way she looking.
Don't you go there.
I'm just saying. It don't look. It's not a good look. I don't see her. She's in no kind of ring shape whatsoever.
How many of these people that are coming in are in ring shape? They may be supermodel still stature, but they're not. None of them in ring shape. They're taking minimal bumps or whatever. Victoria can still do something. Saying,
I don't think she's up for one bump, let alone minimal.
She's talked about doing it for a while.
She can talk all she wants.
I'm gonna have to send her an email. Like, y'all need to talk about this, Victoria. This is James. Hate me.
Go ahead.
Hard. You may not even get his intro video tonight. Talk bad about Victoria.
Let me say this, fellas, because I gotta jump. I gotta go.
Oh, we're about to wrap it up now.
I know. I'll have to watch. I won't be able to participate, but I have to go. I must.
Oh,
I have to.
Oh,
I don't want to, but I have to. I'm dying right now. But if you're gonna make the women of substance, you gotta call up NXT or you gotta call up the Indies or whatever. Open the forbidden door, and you want to surprise some people. Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace, bring them in. And hey, this is your moment right now. This is your moment on the big stage. Not saying it's gonna be your last moment, but damn it, you deserve this. And there it is, and you can make this exciting. I would love to see Awesome Kong come back and participate in the women's Royal Rumble. You gotta have that one that nobody can beat. And I know it's a far-fetched. Nia Jax. She comes back for one night. I'm not like most girls,
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's why I said it's far fetched.
That's way far fetched right there. I may have to win the lottery on that one.
Well, I haven't talked to her in a couple of days, so I'll call her and see what's what.
Well, she gonna be mad about them images you've been posting tonight.
Well, I can't post what I got of her because hey, that's private vote, private stage.
Bless it.
But I gotta run, gentlemen. Y'all go ahead and have a good show. I will be watching. So is the FCC. So keep that in mind. Don.
I'll be naked by the end of this.
Shit, I gotta go.
For real.
You gonna leave me by myself with this shit?
Might as well.
Yes, only you can tame him.
How?
Only you can keep him in check. I can't. You know what? Call Big Sis. Tell her get on. She need to be on the sofa beside him somewhere with the unicorn. That way he'll stay in check.
Exactly.
She's on the phone doing something else. She ain't got time for me.
That's all right. We'll send her a text message. She'll get off.
After these messages,
bye.
I'll be bucket naked.
Leave.
It still sucks that, my most favorite intro is yours. God damn, I put my whole pinky toe in that one. Shit.
Yeah, you did all right.
Oh no, you did
okay.
You gotta say it for real. That's some good shit right there. Like I can't. As much as I want to put our new logo in it, I don't even want to touch it.
All right, so I ain't giving you shit.
We're gonna talk about the shirt
anyway. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming.
I waited 53 minutes.
Like you said earlier, there's a method to my madness. I got a plan here. I got it laid out. Just deal with me. Work with me here. Okay. So starting out, we're going to talk about what's happening tonight, which is the last night of the Great Muta. And Pro Wrestling Noah is having a show tonight. Sometime tomorrow morning early. I think it's supposed to be 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern time in the United States, which will probably be like 5 or 6, something like that, in Japan in the afternoon. This will be the last match for the character, the Great Muta. So it'll be the Great Muta and Darby Allin and Sting going up against Akira, who is known by Akira Nogami, Nakamichi Marufuji, and then there's another wrestler named Jinsei Shinzaki. Now, you all may know Shinzaki or remember him as Hakushi from the WWF back in the day. Japanese wrestler, had all the Japanese kanji all over him and wear the white long pants and whatnot, walk the top ropes and whatnot. That's him. Now, apparently Hakushi has been an executive since he left WWF. He went back to Japan, traveled around a little bit, and ended up in Michinoku Pro Wrestling with Taka Michinoku's organization. And he's not only an executive there, but he's also the only heavyweight wrestler in that promotion. So he's been kind of doing his thing still. He's going to be under the character of Hakushi tonight in this match, along with Naomichi Marufuji, who is a former GHC, Pro Wrestling Noah heavyweight champion. One of two of the only men to ever hold the junior heavyweight championship in New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah. So that makes him a really big deal. Most of his work has been in Pro Wrestling Noah, and he's won a lot of accolades and titles within Pro Wrestling Noah, but he is more so the Japanese legend of his own. And then Akira, who is Akira Nogami, who you've probably seen and not known who it was. He's more of he's a wrestler who dressed up in the kabuki type. He has the mask with the long hair, with the long wild hair, and the kimono that he came out in. But yeah, he has some history with the Great Muta character as well. So they'll be in a 6-man tag again. This will be the last time the Great Muta will be in the ring as a character. So then that goes into what happened last night or earlier this morning, where they had where New Japan Pro Wrestling, along with Pro Wrestling Noah, had a show that they called Wrestle Kingdom 17 Night 2. So they had Wrestle Kingdom, the original Wrestle Kingdom, on January the 4th. And now they're having their so-called second night, along with Pro Wrestling Noah. And the show started off with young lions, two young lions from New Japan and 2 young lions from Pro Wrestling Noah wrestling in a match. It went to a little over 12 minutes, and the New Japan team wound up winning. Masa Kitamiya and Daiki Inaba from Pro Wrestling Noah wound up beating Tomohiro Ishii and Oscar Leube, Leube, who is, as I mentioned before, he's a German wrestler. He's a German wrestler, amateur wrestler who has joined the New Japan dojo and is learning the trade of professional wrestling within the dojo. He's only been in for maybe about 6 months. A big tall guy. I mean, he's like maybe 6'7", 6'8", probably about three, right at 300 pounds. You know, kind of like almost looking like what Gunther's looking like now. You know, kind of like that body style and that body shape. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses within the dojo and to see where he ends up. So to start the main card, you had Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, Satoshi Kojima, and Takashi Sugiura, with Kojima and Sugiura being the GHC tag team champions. Toru Yano having a history with Pro Wrestling Noah. Those 4 going up against Naomichi Marufuji, who I mentioned earlier, Kenta, El Phantasmo, and Gato from the Bullet Club. And the Bullet Club wound up losing actually that match. They were trying to get Marufuji to join in with the Bullet Club, and of course that didn't happen. So that kind of brought some comedy into the situation, especially with Toru Yano being part of it. So then you had New Japan Pro Wrestling's El Desperado going up against Pro Wrestling Noah's Yohei, which was a pretty good match. It could have been match of the night, pretty much. They put on a good 10, 11 minutes, and El Desperado wound up winning that match. Then you had a 6-man tag with from Pro Wrestling Noah. You had Amaska, Junta, Miyawaki, and Alejandro, who was a masked wrestler that I spoke about here on the podcast before, going up against New Japan's team of Tiger Mask, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Master Wato. of which the Pro Wrestling Noah faction team wound up winning. And then the interesting match of the night, which was Pro Wrestling Noah's Yoshiki Inamura and Kaito Kiyomiya. That's Kaito Kiyomiya, which is the GHW heavyweight champion, their top champion, going up against the tag team of Toge Makabe and Kazuchika Okada, who is obviously the IWGP World Champion. Now, this match only lasted 6 minutes. And the reason why it only lasts 6 minutes is because some stuff went down. Okay. So in the match, the match. Okay. So you got a match where your two top champions and two promotions are wrestling against each other. You're not going to have too much interaction between these guys. And you're not going to have one of them going over on the other, really. So the way I was thinking that something like this was going to happen, but not to this extent. So about maybe 4 minutes into the match, you've got what's his name again? Yoshiki Inamura sitting in the middle of the ring. Okada has him in a reverse chin lock, his knee in his back. You got Kitamiya, the GAC champion, comes in the ring to help out his partner. He kicks Okada in the back, flat foot, kind of like a push kick, no sell. He does it again, no sell. Referee comes to get Kiyomiya. He pushes him off, kicks him again. Okada releases the hold, is turning around like, yeah, I'm about to tell this dude something. And then Kitamiya kicks him. I mean, from behind, where the crook of his foot hits him in the eye and his foot wraps around his face like this, right? So Okada rolls over, sells the eye, holding on to his face. He gets up and commenced to start beating this dude like he owed him money. It was crazy. I mean, it was like 10 minutes of total pandemonium and confusion. Either it was a work shoot where they intended to do this and it went too far, or they didn't plan this at all, and this was just a straight up ass whooping. Because Okada put it on this dude. I mean, Okada let him have it. And then you got the two tag team partners trying to break them off, the referees trying to break them off. You got the young boys getting into it. You got other guys coming from the back trying to break this up. I mean, it's total pandemonium. And so after about 10 minutes, Okada's going up the ramp trying to go get back to the locker room. Kitamiya gets on the mic and is talking about, look, you want a singles match? We can do this. We can do this for real. And so Okada comes back. They go back at it again. They show a video of Okada once he gets back through the curtains into the back, and he's just yelling and screaming like, so I'm sure that's going to turn into something, because they're trying, what it looks like it's trying to do is that they're trying to put Pro Wrestling Noah and New Japan into some kind of relationship where they start going back and forth with each other. So it's going to be interesting how that turns out, especially since you got the two top champions of the two main organizations in Japan going at each other. So could this mean a title unification? Could this mean a series of matches where, between the two? I mean, this Kitamiya is a young cat who just recently beat a wrestler I'm going to talk about here in a little bit for the title. I mean, he hasn't had that title long, and I don't know. I'm not saying that Kitamiya is not unproven, but like I said, he's young, so we got to see. I don't know if this is a way to build him up with the rub off of Okada. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But that was one of the most interesting parts of the night. And then now it goes into a 5-match series between Los Ingobernables de Japón and their main group in Pro Wrestling Noah called Congo. So the 5 members of Los Ingobernables is going to go up against the five members of Congo, of which Congo's Tadasuke winds up beating Bushi. You had Hiromu Takahashi defeating Congo member Hajime Ohara. You had Manabu Soye defeating Sonata. And you had Shingo Takagi picking up the win over Kazuchika Nakajima. So that makes it 2-2. All right. So the 5th match and the main event of the evening was Tetsuya Naito going up against Congo's leader, Kanoa. Kanoa being the former GHC champion that I was talking about earlier. So this is the two leaders of these two factions going up against each other for the deciding match in this series. And Tetsuya Naito winds up winning the match. Now, after the match, as is tradition, whoever wins the main event gets the mic. So he's cutting his promo. They do the LIJ roll call and the whole thing. He's getting ready to leave. He comes around. Kenji Muto was sitting on commentary, and he comes by. He gives him a nod of the hat, gives him a look, and goes back. Muto leaves the commentary area, goes into the ring. Says, Naito, I've made my choice. You will be my last match. Do you accept? So Naito comes back and he comes in the ring and says, well, I guess I'm going to have to leave February 21st open then, don't I? So now your main event for February 21st, which is going to be the event for Pro Wrestling Noah, Muto's last match, Kenji Muto's last match as Kenji Muto, not the Great Muta. That's tonight. But for Kenji Muto's last match, his retirement match, he's going to go up against Tetsuya Naito, 1-on-1. So that would be a cool match to have. Now, one thing that I did leave out is that at the beginning of before they started the main card of this event, between the first two matches, after the first two matches, and before the first match with this 8-man tag, they honored Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe, as everyone knows, passed away this past Tuesday in a car accident that he had with his 2 daughters in the car. The 2 daughters are in pretty good condition at this point, from what I read last about their condition. They're saying that the accident was not Jay Briscoe's fault. Thank goodness. So, because that would cause a whole nother part of kind of hurt when it comes to that family right now, I'm sure. So, the Pro Wrestling Noah and New Japan got together and did a tribute to Jay Briscoe before the main event, before the main card started. You had members of both organizations, wrestlers from both organizations, surrounding the ring with Marufuji, Naomichi Marufuji, and Hiroshi Tanahashi in the ring, representing each organization, holding pictures of Jay Briscoe, and a 10-bell salute, 5 bells from New Japan, 5 bells from Pro Wrestling Noah. And then as they left the ring, they played his entrance music, the Briscoe brothers' entrance music, and paid tribute to him. Now, you got a lot of organizations that have paid tribute in their own way to Jay Briscoe. You had on Friday night, you had the Viking Warriors wearing the armbands. You've had armbands being worn by other wrestlers and other organizations, and people using their finishers or moves that he's known for, like the Jay Driller or the Road Warriors finisher, that they used to do back in the day that they adopted. Or what's that?
The Doomsday Device.
Don? Device, yeah. The Doomsday Device, or the Clockwork Neck Breaker. I saw somebody using the clock where he brings them around and go tick, 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 and then hits them. Don, you on the boards, right?
What kind of trouble you got?
I got beef.
And we'll substitute out the KG for.
And when I saw what happened, or I heard what happened Wednesday going into Dynamite, it pissed me off. It really did. I mean, let me preface this by saying, I didn't think that I would be affected by the death of Jay Briscoe the way that I was. I mean, I didn't go out and start bawling and crying and whatever, but it hit me. Whenever I heard about the Briscoes wrestling, I was excited for that. I looked forward to that. Okay. The way that I felt about Jay Briscoe's death, I thought I would have felt about Ric Flair having that heart attack and being in that hospital as long as he was.
Right.
That didn't affect me like Jay Briscoe's death affected me. Now, I said that to say this. Warner Brothers Discovery, you are a bunch of fucking assholes for not allowing AEW to have their tribute to Jay Briscoe in the way that they should have. This man You are condemning this man for something that he said over 10 years ago, that he has apologized for, he's made amends for, he's actually done things to counter what he said and to make up and make amends for what he did. You're holding him accountable for something he did 10 years ago in his death. As much as he's done for the sport of professional wrestling, for tag team wrestling, and you're going to hold something like this over his head in his death? As many people in AEW and now you got Ring of Honor that's involved in this now, and that as many people that have been affected by Jay Briscoe, that have wrestled with Jay Briscoe, and you don't want them to do a tribute to this man, but then you turn around and you start a show on one of your networks for somebody who publicly slapped the taste out of his wife's mouth in public. You're gonna start a whole show, a whole series on one of your networks for somebody like this? Are you kidding? Are you serious? This you already don't have a good look as far as what the powder public sees you. And then you're going to do something like this. So what's the reason for this shirt? It's Time Warner. Go fuck yourselves. Go piss off.
More
You should be
importantly,
ashamed.
you just made the list.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. How the hell? Get over it. But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Get the ball, bro.
It's gonna have something's. It's all gonna come back around some kind of way. It's stuff like this. Karma is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Karma is a true bitch, and something is good. This type of thing is gonna come back around to bite Time Warner Discovery all up in their ass, and I can't wait for that to happen.
Yep. That's crucial. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I mean, you got people out here just like he was talking. KG was talking about Kevin Nash earlier. Kevin Nash said some real serious stuff. I mean,
He was dark.
I'm just hoping that the right people gets into his ear and brings him down. Not to mention, this same week, probably the day after Jay Briscoe dies, you got a suicide attempt from Amari Miller from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Young black girl who apparently, and I'm not sure if this was the cause of it, but apparently there was a tweet that she made saying that Ember Moon was the only African American NXT Women's Champion, and that she wanted to be number 2. And that got a lot of backlash from a lot of people because they were saying, well, Sasha Banks was NXT Women's Champion. And she says, well, she's not African American. Her mother was German.
Oh, yeah.
So that got a lot of backlash, and you know how Twitter gets. And this girl ain't. I don't think this girl is in her mid-20s, if that. So I don't know. I'm just speculating that this might have had something to do with her suicide attempt this week. But I'm hoping somebody got a hold of her too. But luckily, the attempt wasn't successful, and that she is in. She did nothing. Nothing serious happened to her, or anything ongoing. But please, people, if you have any types of thoughts like that, reach out to somebody. Let somebody know what's going on with you. Because for you to hold something in like that and not let somebody know what's going on, to try to, and at least let them try to help you. You know, nothing is worth killing yourself for. Nothing. Okay, nothing comes from that. Look, think about the people that you leave behind and the things that you leave behind. That, you know, it's not worth it. So, you know, it's just been like I said earlier, it's been a rough week for a lot of people, and I just hope that the few people that do watch us here, that we do give you some kind of release or outlet, or, you know, take your mind off of what's going on with your regular deals, day-to-day dealings, just for an hour or two, to, you know, put a smile on your face, tell you something that you don't know, or just make you laugh. You know, but know what's going on with you, you know. And folks, check on your friends. Just call them up and tap them on the shoulder. Just like, what's going on, man? How you doing? You know, you doing okay? You know, is everything all right? You know, just check on your people.
Yep. And there's no way to jazz that up. So we're going to end it on that note. We'll worry about bonds and everything else later, but that's something that just needs to happen. So we appreciate everybody watching. Next week is the Royal Rumble. Be ready.